Sure. Let me just start by saying that we're going through a difficult time. A lot of things going on. We've got a presidential election that is in its final stretches. We've got a tragedy that occurred in Louisville some months ago. We have an announcement about indictments not being returned. We have some of our citizens who, don't want to wear a mask. Most do. And I just think that whatever we can do to look at this as it really is us against the virus. On the other issues, we may have disagreements, but we have still a lot more in common as Ohioans than we don't have in common. And intolerance and love and people trying to work together, I think is important. I think it's also important as we approach these things that whether we agree with a police officer or not, try to respond to that police officer. There's a time and a place to do other things and to make your point known, and you have ample opportunity to do that, whatever the situation might be. I had the opportunity this morning. I picked up the phone. I called Monty Banter, who is Logan Hawkins School District Superintendent. And I talked to him and to ask him what had happened, because last night someone, as you can imagine, sent me the video, and I had the opportunity to look at the video. He told me what had happened, and I'll just quickly recount what he told me and what we've learned about that. Is that the woman was approached and asked, to put a mask on, said she had asthma. Some point they told her you could go and get a shield, come back with a shield, that'd be fine. And went back and forth for a while. And basically they asked her to leave, and she refused to leave. And the school can tell you more of the details, and the police department, I know, put out a report or a statement that I looked at this morning, so anybody can pull this down. This is the police department's report, and they can get more of the facts. But what the superintendent told me, I made some notes. He talked about the officer. He said the officer is our resource officer, works with kids all the time. To quote the superintendent, could not be a kinder person. He reminds people in a very nice way what they need to do. In this particular case, the superintendent said that she simply would not comply with his request to leave. He also pointed out that there were, he says, we're very transparent. We let everyone know what to expect. We have signs everywhere telling people what to expect, what to do. We follow the Ohio High School Athletic Association and the Ohio Department of Health rules. And then he said something that I think I'll always remember. He said, Governor, any day our kids are in school is a good day. Any day our kids are playing sports is a good day, win or lose. And we're going to try to do and follow the rules and do everything we can to have our kids continue to play. We started this discussion about schools and sports in schools a number of months ago. We wanted to keep our kids safe. We wanted to keep the people working in the schools safe. We wanted to have our kids play sports, but we didn't know how to balance all that out. And we came up with a plan that's kind of an Ohio plan, which is we let each school district make their own decision, and we let, of course, the parents make their own decision. In this particular school, they made a decision. We announced that. Then we looked at starting sports. How are we going to make sports safe? And we came up with what we were hearing from people is, we want our kids to play. We want our kids to play. I get it. We've had 8 kids, and they've all played sports. We've got many grandkids that played sports. It's important. And so we said, how can we do that? And the way we did it was that we came up with some protocols and said, let's do what's important. What's important is the kids can play, number one. Number two, we want the parents or whoever is important in that child's life to be able to go to the game. And so we set that out and opened it up. Some states didn't do that. Some states restricted football. Some states restricted contact sports. We felt that it was worth the risk for these kids to be able to do this. And so we set up the protocol. And then we worked with the Ohio High School Athletic Association to come up with how this was going to be policed, quote unquote, or regulated, and how this was going to work. And they set forth guidelines, and we worked with them on doing that. We've had phenomenal success. That doesn't mean some kids may not have contracted the COVID, whether they did it in sports or not, we'll probably never know. But overall, this has worked exceedingly well. And it's worked because Ohioans have done a phenomenal job. Parents have done what they needed to do. The school's done what they needed to do. The students have worn masks and done what they needed to do. And to my knowledge, I don't think there's been any other case. There might have been some, but I don't think there's any other case besides this one where we turn and we see something that's gone viral and something that clearly looks bad and something that no one wants to see. But I would just say to people who are judging the school, people who are judging that officer, people who are judging the school official who you see in the video, look, they were trying to follow the guidelines of the Ohio High School Athletic Association, the health department, with the sole purpose of they wanting their kids to play. And that's what they did. And I think if you look at, before you just look at the video, look at what led up to that video, I think that you'll get a full picture of what happened. Very unfortunate, very unpleasant to look at. No one wants to see that happen. And, it's sad when we see something like that happen. John, I know you wanted to say something.
Oh, well, Governor, yeah, I would just reiterate that, people are going through a trying time. And I know that on occasion they have conflicts with one another, and we have to work through them. And we have to work through them for our kids and for the sake of trying to be able to continue to do these things. And for the most part, people have done that. I know we don't want to see any of these things ever end up where they did in this particular video. That's not where we want to see things go. And that requires all of us to exercise some civility with one another and to respect each other's responsibilities, to respect the rules, and to try to de-escalate situations and not to escalate them, because really all of us on the outside watching those sports, we're supposed to be there to support those kids. And hopefully we will not have to, any of us will have to experience another incident like this.
So